Sweet morning, divine angels. So you got the recipe of awakening the giant. You know, get on this recipe. I'm telling you, life would be completely different. Life will be completely different. Uh, Let me share something with you. Okay, hold on. So here we go. See, I shared two quotes of Tony Robbins in the NLP and Beyond group. The first one was yesterday, and the next second one was today. The first one was, if you want to be successful, find someone who has achieved the results you want and copy what they do, and you'll achieve the same results. Okay. This itself is simply good enough to awaken the giant within you. And then comes the next one, which I shared last night, which is quality questions create a quality life. Successful people ask better questions, and as a result, they get better answers. Yeah. So you can replace better with the word relevant. So successful people ask relevant questions, and as a result, they get relevant answers. Just think about what you listened this morning. Think about these quotes and notice, observe what's going in your mind. Actually observe. Let's observe for 1 minute. Do not allow any distraction to distract you right now. Just observe what is going in your mind. Just observe how your brain is thinking, what your brain is thinking. Cool. So I will share, share a story about a lady. Her name was Rani Soyamoi. Do you know this lady? Any of you aware of this lady? Heard about her? All right, listen to the story. Why is collector madam not wearing makeup? Malappuram district collector Miss Rani Soyamoi interacts with college students. She wore no jewelry other than a wristwatch. What surprised most of the students was that she did not even use face powder. The speech is in English. She spoke for only a minute or two but her words were full of determination. The children then asked the collector some questions. So, what's your name? My name is Rani. Soyamoi is my family name. I'm a native of Jharkhand. Anything else to ask? A slender girl stood up from the audience. Ask, child, madam, why don't you use any makeup? The collector's face suddenly turned pale. Sweat broke out on her thin forehead. The smile on her face faded. The audience suddenly became silent. She opened the water bottle on the table and drank a little. Then she gestured slowly to the student to sit. Then she began to speak slowly. You have asked a troubling question. It is something that can never be answered in a single word. I have to tell you my life story in answer. Let me know if you are willing to set aside your precious 10 minutes for my story. Ready? So I was born in a tribal area of Jharkhand. The collector paused and looked at the audience. I was born in a small hut in the tribal area of Kodarma district, full of mica mines. My father and mother were miners. I had two elder brothers and a younger sister. We lived in a small hut that leaked when it rained. My parents worked in the mines for meager wages because they could not find another job. It was a very messy job. When I was 4 years old, my father, mother, and two brothers were bedridden with various ailments. Imagine when she was 4 years old. Little did they know at the time that the disease was caused by inhaling the deadly mica dust in the mines. When I was 5, my brothers died of an illness. With a small sigh, the collector stopped talking and wiped her eyes with her handkerchief. Most days, our diet consisted of plain water and one or two rotis. Both my brothers left this world due to acute illness and starvation. In my village, forget a doctor, there was no school. Can you imagine a village without a school, a hospital, or even a toilet, without electricity? One day, my father grabbed my starved skin and bones hand and walked me to a big mine covered with tin sheets. It was a mica mine that had gained notoriety over time. It was an ancient mine that was dug up, extending seemingly endlessly into the underworld. My job was to crawl through the tiny caves at the bottom and collect mica ores. It was only possible for children under the age of 10. For the first time in my life, I ate a full stomach of rotis, but that day I vomited. At the time, I should be in first class. I was collecting mica in dark rooms where I was breathing poisonous dust. It was not uncommon for unfortunate children to die in occasional landslides, and occasionally some with fatal diseases. After working 8 hours a day, you could earn at least enough for a one-time meal. I had become thinner and dehydrated because of hunger and inhalation of poisonous gases every day. A year later, my sister also started going to work in the mine. As soon as they were a little better, I came to a point that my father, mother, sister, and I worked together and we could live without hunger. But fate was beginning to haunt us in another form. One day, when I was not going to work due to high fever, it suddenly rained. Hundreds of people died when the mine collapsed on the workers at the base of the mine. Among them were my father, mother, and sister. Tears began to flow through both eyes of Rani. Everyone in the audience forgot to even breathe. The eyes of many were filled with tears. You have to remember that I was only 6 years old. Eventually, I arrived at the government Agati Mandir. There I was educated. I had learned my first alphabets from my village. Finally, here is the collector in front of you. You may wondering what the connection is between this and the fact that I do not use makeup. She continued, glancing through the audience. It was during my education that I realized that the whole mica I had collected while crawling through the darkness those days was being used on makeup products. Mica is the first type of pearlescent silicate mineral. Among the mineral makeups offered by many big cosmetic companies, the brightest color for your skin is from the multicolored mica that 20,000 young children risk their lives to mine. The softness of the rose spreads on your cheeks with their charred dreams, their shattered lives, and their flesh and blood crushed among the rocks. Millions of dollars worth of mica are still used, picked up by baby hands from mines to enhance our beauty. Now you tell me, how do I apply makeup on my face? How can I eat on a full stomach in memory of my brothers who died of starvation? How can I wear expensive silk dresses in the memory of my mother who'd never even dreamed of torn clothes? The whole audience stood up unknowingly as Rani walked away, with a small smile on her lips, without wiping the tears in her eyes, her head held high. The highest quality of mic is still mined in Jharkhand. More than 20,000 young children work there without going to school. They wither away, some in the landslides and some by disease. Awaken the giant within and keep it awake till you breathe your last. No matter what, whatever it takes. That's my message to all of you. So if you are looking for answer to one relevant question, that why I should awaken the giant within me, I think this is one of the relevant answers. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm getting too emotional today. Anyway. So, coming back, in fact, those of you who are associated with Brahma Kumaris, I would strongly recommend you to get the story behind that how she spent her life, what she did in Brahma Kumaris. Probably that will encourage you to also become a part of that beautiful extended family, which has a worldwide presence today, with only one motto: live your life the way you love to live it. Yeah, it's not a religious organization. It's an organization which teaches you, which gives you the information, the knowledge, the gyan to live your life like a human being in every way, in every possible way. There are 18 wings. You can become a part of any of those wings based on your academic pursuits. Okay, so coming back. Why do I need to awaken the giant within me? It's not only about me, by the way. If you're thinking it's about you, it's not about you. In fact, it's not about you anyway. It's not only about you. It's not about you anyway. Why do I need to awaken my giant? It's not about me. It's all about every human being other than me. I being a social animal, I be a human being. My first virtue is to live my life like being a human. You know, what I find this book is when you follow everything which is documented in this book, the beautifully way it was summarized this morning by this in this video, this 17-minute video. What you will gift yourself is the art of being human. I'm telling you, it will change you completely from within. It will transform you from within. The first thing that you discover is who you are. आपके अंदर कितना ताकत है, कितना पावर है. What you can do, you get access to that. At least you get to know about it. You just follow the book. I am not talking about reading the book. I don't read books. As I told many of you, I don't read books from cover to cover anyway. So I don't read books. I study books. I study the person who wrote the book. I figure out what kind of lifestyle that person has, what that person has gone through, even before writing this book. Many a times I go back to the history, that what made him write this book. So that way I get a clarity on what could be there in the book, or whatever he has written, how much he's associated with that, every word that is written in the book. So first reason is that why do I need to awaken the giant inside me is to discover, to be the person who I am, being human being, being a human. The second thing is to transform the world. You pick up one area, one topic, one thing which the world is struggling with. See, anything that world is struggling with is associated with human beings. So human beings are struggling. You pick up one area and you contribute yourself in that area so that you can make a difference in your life as well as in the life of people who are associated with that. To put it very simply, bring smiles on people around you. I think as a human being, it's our moral responsibility, at least as long as we are aware of whatever we are studying right now, whatever we are discussing right now, with this conscious awareness, it becomes our responsibility to be human, like behave like a human being, and bring smiles to people around us, including myself. Imagine God has created his most sophisticated creation on this earth in the form of you and me. अगर सारे जानवर अपनी जिंदगी एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, हमने क्यों ये तकलीफ मोल लिया कि हमें एंजॉय नहीं करना है? Why the world is looking for all the negative news today? What pleasure do they get out of it? What pleasure do they get out of all the pains that they're exposed to? People love negative news. People love pains. Why so? Because they have nothing else to enjoy the pleasure of life. So since they have nothing else to enjoy the pleasure of life, they have picked up pain as a source of their pleasure in life. And many of them are happy with that pain. They love to be in that zone because the giant inside them is sleeping. They don't know what they're capable of. In fact, probably you and I are also not aware of what you and I are capable of. हम क्या कर सकते हैं? एक 6 साल की बच्ची. See, I told you many times, according to the science of being, this ontology, it says that by the time you reach 6 or 7 years of age, you are almost mature, fully mature to live the rest of your life. These are all examples. At 6 year old, this child was mature enough to create a life for herself and eventually becoming the president of the country. I strongly think that it's our moral responsibility to make sure that children around us, they should not suffer because of you and me, because of their parents. Most children suffer because of their parents. Probably every children suffer because of their parents. Because parents fail to identify their children. They don't know how precious their children are. I don't know what kind of parenting coaching these parents are going through. But despite all these efforts, it's not working. The fundamental connection is missing. Neither they're awakening their giant within, neither they're encouraging their children to be that way. खुद के पास ही नॉलेज नहीं है तो आगे जाकर वो क्या करे? आप उसको कितना भी ज्ञान दे दो, ऐसे बात करो, ऐसे ये करो, ऐसे वो करो, बच्चों के साथ ऐसे बिहेव करो, खुद का जायंट सो रहा है, उससे आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो वो आगे जाके बच्चे को जगाएगा? इतना पावरफुल बुक, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दिस. दिस वाज रिटन इन 1990. Probably many of you have read this book also. So what did you do to awaken that giant inside? Or even if you have done it, many of us have done it in the past, but we couldn't keep it away. हमारे सारे लिमिटिंग बिलीफ आके ना हमें वो दोबारा हमें सुला दिया. So every time we get up, the moment we get up, we start seeing these limiting beliefs around us. और मैं अपनी कहानी बता रहा हूँ. आई एम यूजिंग द वर्ड वी, लेकिन मैं मेरी बातें कर रहा हूँ, आपकी बातें नहीं कर रहा हूँ. But that's happening. That happens with me. Even right now, it's happening. The giant is there. It gets up early at 5 o'clock. It stays like a giant till 6:45, 7 a.m. And then life takes place. Then life happens. And as life happens, this Pinaki tells himself, okay, where do you want to pay your attention now? Bhaskar was talking about this focus. I really like that. That slide is doing the rounds in the social media again after some time over last couple of days. Follow one course. Question is which course? Did you identify that course? मुझे तो लगता है after listening to this, follow one course until success. मुझे तो लगता है एक ही कोर्स काफी है. Just keep your giant awake. तो उठ गया है, अब फोकस मेंटेन करके उठा ही रहे, जगा ही रहे. If you just focus on this one thing, probably you don't need to focus on anything else. Isn't it? Yes or no? Yeah. आप सोचो मैं इस किताब को लेके कितना दूर तक, कितना डेप्थ तक मैं गया इस with this one book. Yet I didn't read this book from cover to cover yet. You know, when I read this book, I feel like I'm writing that book. मैं आई थिंक कि टोनी ने जब ये किताब लिखा था उसके दिमाग में क्या सोच चल रहा हो. What kind of thoughts he was having in 1990. I will share a video with you when Tony Robbins was very young. I'll share that video today. When he was very young, in his his late 20s or maybe early 30s. I'll share that video. Wonderful one. So coming back, if you really need to awaken the giant within you, what could be the reasons behind that? Purpose क्या हो सकता है? एक तो पर्पस ये सकता है वॉट एवर लाइफ पर्पस यू हैव डिफाइंड फॉर योरसेल्फ, यू डिजाइन फॉर योरसेल्फ, यू डिस्कवर फॉर योरसेल्फ. कम से कम उसको ताजा रखना, उसको इतना ताजा रखना कि अगर रास्ते में आपको किसी ने पकड़ भी लिया ना और बोलता है कि तू क्या करता है, व्हाट डू डू, इवन इफ पुलिस कैचेस यू एंड आस्क यू व्हाट डू डू. हुआ था मेरे साथ ऐसा बाय द वे. मेरे मुंह से निकल गया, आई इंस्पायर एंड एम्पावर पीपल टू लिव बेटर लाइव्स इन एवरी पॉसिबल वे, नो मैटर व्हाट एवर इट टेक्स. तो बोले कि हिंदी में बता, तो फिर मैं उसको हिंदी में बता. बोले ये कौन सा काम हुआ. मैं बोला यही काम मैं करता हूँ, अब बताओ इसको मैं कैसे एक्सप्लेन करूँ एक शब्द. तो when these things happen then I discover, oh yes, the giant is awake. वो सो नहीं रहा है, वो जगा हुआ. You know? तो उसको जगाने का पर्पस एक ही ये है कि आप खुद जगे रहो, आप अपने लाइफ पर्पस पे टिके रहो, यू अलाइंड रहो, अलाइंड विद योर लाइफ पर्पस, make a difference to your life, make a difference to people around you, bring smiles on their face, keep that smile alive on their face, and make this world a beautiful place to live. You know, Shilpa was talking about guts. Actually, guts चाहिए. गट्स तभी आता है जब आप करते हो. So as I'm sharing this with you, I could share because I live that way. I'm living that life. It's not what I just say. I live that way. Not 100%. That will be a lie. But yes, at least to quite an extent. And even I also notice that when life takes place, how I use my limiting beliefs to tell myself कि तू कितना भी कर ले फिर भी ऐसा होने वाला है, इसकी वजह से तू रुक जाएगा, दिस विल नॉट अलाउ यू टू बी दैट वे, दैट पर्सन विल नॉट अलाउ यू टू डू दिस थिंग, they will not allow to follow your dreams. Even I am also victim of those limiting beliefs. The point is that can I catch myself or not? That is very important. So I led you to an exercise this morning when I just started the session. I said, just take 1 minute and notice what kind of thoughts are going in your mind right now. So whenever I go into similar situations, I just do exactly the same thing. I stop. I stop communicating. I just hold myself back and just observe what is going in my head. What kind of thoughts are coming? What kind of thoughts are influencing my thoughts right now? Observe, connect, calibrate, communicate, make a difference. इतना ही तो करना है. Am I doing that? If I'm not doing that, which one I'm not doing out of these 5 steps? Which of these I'm not doing? That's it. I took a big, bold step yesterday, last night. कल सुबह मैंने जो बात किया था, मैंने उसको लेकर पॉडकास्ट बनाया, and then I posted in my Magic of Transformation group. It was a very bold step for me, exceptionally bold step for me, but I did it. मैंने सोचा कि जो होगा होगा, जिसको जो सोचना है सोचने दो, जिसको जो सुनना है सुनने दो, जिसको जो इंटरप्रेट करना है करने दो, क्योंकि जो कुछ भी हो रहा है वो तभी पॉसिबल है जब मैं इसको डालूंगा ग्रुप में. जब तक मैं नहीं डालूंगा तब तक तो होगा नहीं, इसलिए आज तक हुआ नहीं, है ना. So this is this opportunity for each one of us. So you can be having your own reasons to awaken the giant and keep it awake. You figure it out. So to take the day today, watch the video, listen to the conversation that we had this morning among us, and then figure out what is that one reason, what is that one motivation, what is that one inspiration, what is that one encouragement that you need to keep alive by awakening the giant within you. वो जायंट ही है, इसीलिए वो आपको करने नहीं दे रहा. इतना ताकत है उसके अंदर. उसको जगाना है और अपने फेवर में यूज करना है. ओके.